Welcome back, everybody. Take a break with Stephen Shamus.
Good to see you, my friend. How's it going today, Alex?
Wonderful. It's hot. Finally, we're summertime. Tufts proud.
Repping the jumbos.
Where is Tufts? Is it upstate?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's everything past New York City's upstate to me. Doesn't matter where. Canada, upstate.
Let me tell you something. When I was in school in Albany, if you were in New York, you were downstate.
Yeah.
But if you were in Syracuse, you were upstate. So it all depends on where you are.
Where you are
in New York City, anything north of the George Washington Bridge is upstate.
100%.
But there's a lot of upstate.
Yeah. 8 hours to Buffalo. That's upstate.
Exactly. All right, what do we got today, Alex?
Yeah, we're gonna touch on a few things. We're gonna hit some lady killers, some movie news. We're gonna go back to Star Wars and talk about Dark Saber. Thank you. That was for me, I assume. The Venom 2 trailer came out. Looks great. So we're going to talk about that. Is the loneliest number that you ever do. That and some other symbiotes. And then we're going to jump into something for the kids, some SpongeBob comics.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
And a One Punch Man / My Hero Academia free comic book day.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, Alex, with some of these books is, and we see it more and more, the nostalgia stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! We saw it with sports cards. And you're seeing it with comic books. Now, what I can't get over, and maybe the people in the other industries can't get over, is I remember there being mass quantities on these books, like mass quantities, but yet they're blowing up. Yeah. Someone's got to have cases of these things, Alex. I don't
Probably,
care what you
but do
me.
they have 9/8s? I mean, you can have a case of 9/6s. What's that doing for you? Nobody wants those.
I don't know. Somebody's got these books, Alex. I don't care what you tell me. And it's crazy with the Star Wars because it seems like everybody's speculating on everything.
Yes.
So, all right. So what are we going to start with today, Alex?
Yeah, let's talk lady killers. That was a fun little bump in our entertainment news the other day.
Right. So it's a book from Dark Horse.
Yeah.
It's Joelle Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And you can talk a little bit about her. So this book is on fire.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some entertainment news related to it. So why don't you talk a little bit about Lady Killer and Joelle Jones and what the entertainment news is?
Yeah, so it got picked up as a movie. Awesome. The book, like you said, is Dark Horse book. Essentially, it's a trope. It's a for hire assassin who is also on the side of a 1950s mother. So the trope of the 1950s mother, like cook and clean and make sure the husband's happy when he comes home, but she's also a assassin on the side. And her boss decides he doesn't like the way her life is going with the secondary stuff and tries to kill her. So it's like her kind of like dealing with that. And like I said, Joelle Jones, I mean, Titan in the industry is a weird thing to say with somebody that's new, but I mean, they've been doing all kinds of stuff and DC and Marvel, YA, like they are all over the place.
I hear you. So they announced a TV show, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it just blew up all the
of course.
Just blew
as
up
they
like
do.
Everything else.
Yeah,
as they do. Okay. Book is from January of 2015 from Dark Horse. The basic cover, 88 blue label 9.8s, 26 gold label 9.8s. That's about a $425 book. By the way, the main character is Josie Schuller, by the way, for those out there.
Lots of J's.
Okay. Lots of J's. And then the second print, which I call the red cover,
right?
Because it's the same art with the red. Impossible to find, Alex.
Yeah.
Impossible. But it is about a $35 raw book, but 11 blue label 9.8s, 4 gold label 9.8s. That's about an $800 book.
Woo-hoo! I'll take 2.
Okay. And then there's the Emerald City Comic-Con edition, which came out a month later, March.
I was there that year. I didn't pick one up. I was like, I'll pick one up later.
You're such a loser,
I know.
Alex.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Like I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll pick one up.
Why did you buy it?
Lazy.
Probably
Lazy.
$5. It's probably $5. Still,
Five or
right?
$10. Yeah, probably nothing. Probably no line. It's probably just walk up and grab one.
All right. Limited edition to 500. I call it the green cover. It's a Nick Filardi cover. And Nick was probably there, or Joel was probably there, because there's more signature series than Blue Label.
Makes sense.
35 Blue Label 9/8, 40 Gold Label 9/8, $600 in 9/8. It's a $300 raw book. You can't find them raw. Well, they only made 500 of them.
Yeah.
Alex. You could have been one of the lucky ones.
And a quarter of them are
You were
CCC.
there.
I was there. I was
You were
there. I saw them. I
there.
think I
Like-
saw them on the table. I was like, oh, that's cool.
You did
Maybe next time.
98% of the work. You showed up.
I went across the country to a convention and I could have bought it, and I just
I think I paid for that trip, didn't I?
maybe, probably. I could have gotten two of them, one for me, one for you, and I messed it up.
I think I paid for that trip, by the way. I'm just saying. Then you have the second series, Lady Killer 2, #1, that came out in August of 2016. 12 Blue Label 9/8, 19 Gold Label 9/8. It's a $10 raw book. You can't find them. Pop is so low. They call it the Dark. It's the 30th anniversary edition from Dark Horse. Again, it's a Joel Jones story, cover, and art. Then there's a Matteo Scalera variant cover.
Yeah.
4 Blue Label 9/8, 2 Gold Label 9/8. It's about a $5 raw book. So those seems to be much more reasonable. But it seems like everybody wants the books from 2015, which you failed to pick up. That's all I can really say about that.
True. It's true.
All right, what do we got next, Alex?
Yeah, let's Dark Saber, man. More Star Wars.
So it feels like every week there's like something else in the Star Wars universe
Yes.
that just goes bonkers.
And there's something on TV right now. We're in a gap till at least December, I think.
I'll text you. I'll be like, Alex, what's going on with this series? You're like, I don't know. And then we're like, look it up. Like,
And then half an hour later, you're like, okay, leave me alone. Stop texting me. You're giving me too much information.
And it's like, oh, it's the first of this.
Yeah.
I'm like, first of what? Like, it's just like speculation crazy now.
Yeah.
But
totally.
what's weird to me is that, it used to be speculation, like, okay, speculation, the book would go from $50 to like 75 or 80 or 100. Now it's like, it goes from 50 to like 500.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I do think the paper quality also has a lot to do with it on the newer books. They tend to not, the books, I will tell you, in the store that we have, the Toy Wiz store, and I'm sure this is in Midtown too, you can vouch for this. When you go and look at like 90s books and 2000s books and 80s books, and if they're bagged and backboarded, they hold up. Like the paper holds up, the books hold up. I can't tell you how many blocks of books I've pulled out from the 80s and 90s that are just in bags, Silver Age bags by 5, or individual bags with backboards. And some cases where even the plastic bag has deteriorated.
Yeah, it's mealy.
But they're still backboarded, and you can still get 9/8.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the books from like maybe like after 2010 or so, they started using like cheaper paper, I think, on a lot of these books.
And a lot of them, they're heavier. So when they're pulled from cases and stacked, they start getting smashed, crinkled. Yeah.
So I find a lot of 90s books and stuff like in storage, and they tend to come out 9/8. When you find these newer books, they don't tend to come out as the 9/8.
No. Yeah. A lot of 9/2s, 9/4s. Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about Dark Saber and what you think is going on over there.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that at the end of Mandalorian season 2 or season 1, you saw the bad guy cut his way out of a TIE fighter. He had the Dark Saber. Awesome. At the end of Mandalorian season 2, the Mandalorian now owns the Dark Saber, and he's got it. And this is a thing that was used in the cartoon series and in the comic books as a kind of like a leader of Mandalore's crown, if you will. If you're the leader of Mandalore, you had the Dark Saber. The Dark Saber was also used by a Jedi who was Mandalorian, who created the Dark Saber, back in the old days of Jedi. So there's a lot of lore behind that one sword. They used it heavily in the cartoon, in Clone Wars and Rebels, and now it's in the show Mandalorian, and it's definitely going to come into play in season 3, and might even come into play in the Book of Boba Fett, which is coming out in December. Yeah,
another. By the way, speaking of that, at some point we'll get to it. It's like I started looking through like my old Wizard halves and the foil. Like we did Boba Fett, we did Rogue, X-Wing Rogue. Like
The Rogue Squadron.
we did a
yeah.
lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I had them. We chucked them all.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm lucky if I find 2 or 3 copies of these books.
You should have had a file system, a case of everything. That's the key. One case of everything.
We couldn't. It would fill up a whole warehouse.
I know.
Okay, so Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, #1, May of 2014. Jeremy Barlow's story, Juan Frigeri art. It's a Chris Scalf cover. These books are impossible to find. Raw.
Yeah.
It's only 7 years old. I don't know if people just didn't order this book or whatever, because normally the Star Wars books have decent print runs. Alex, I can't even find these books raw. 27 blue label 9/8, 5 gold label 9/8. It's $1,000+ in 9/8.
Yeah. Yeah, they're tough. They are tough.
Okay. Now the next one I can't take credit for because there's a Wizard World convention exclusive and a Wizard World sketch edition exclusive, but they weren't produced by us. They were produced by Dark Horse when they came to the show and they sold them at the show. And maybe I will take credit for it.
Well, you had them in, right?
Yeah, I do. I had them in. So the regular edition was limited to 1,000 copies, Alex. So
that's not a lot.
21 blue label 9/8, 2 gold label 9/8. Last one sold for 800, but good luck finding another one. The sketch edition was limited to 500, 25 blue labels, 3 gold label 9/8. That's about $1,000. This next one is very, very, very tough to find. The Diamond Retailer Summit Edition.
Yeah.
I like to call those the RRP editions.
Right.
That's what I call them. 22 blue label 9/8, 1 gold label 9/8. Those are $1,100 raw. You can't find them. Now, when the retailers do go to these summits, they typically hand out about 200 of them there.
Yeah, makes sense.
I would assume Diamond prints a few extra, keeps them. Maybe they hand them out as gifts here and there. But the retailers are pretty savvy. They usually take those books home with them and keep them because the retailers are not stupid. They know that those books are collectible.
Yeah.
But typically, there's only 200 to 250 that ever actually get out into circulation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's probably why you're seeing that $1,100 number.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, they're impossible. I mean, they're given out so because they know that they're worth money, so the retailers can flip them to make ends meet of why they flew out to the retailer summit.
Correct. And then the last version is the San Diego Comic-Con edition, which came out in July of that year. 12 blue label 9/8, 0 gold label 9/8. It's $1,000 book. Again, I don't know how many they printed. I couldn't find any print run on it, but it's like all of these books are impossible to find.
Yeah.
So totally. if this actually does appear and becomes a hot book, like the sky is like the limit on this one.
Yeah. There is no limit. Yeah.
There's no limit. Okay. All right. Alex's pick of the week. What do you got for us this week, Alex?
I am going to talk about video games probably again, but I'm going to talk about video games. We've talked about in the past the grading of comics and toys and the grading of video games, but it's like, do you have Nintendo games in your basement? Do you have the boxes? You just struck gold. Like classic Nintendo games from the 80s and 90s are crazy. They're just as collectible as cards and as comics. And again, all it takes is the box, the game, you're in. The box plus like the inserts. Oh my God, get out of here. I mean, things are going like Nintendo DS's, for example, which are, probably 10 years ago before the Switch came out. Those in box with instructions are going for like $200, $300. That's more than what they cost, 15 years ago when they came out. These things are very collectible. I mean, I know a lot of video game collectors and, finding games complete is just almost impossible. I mean, I know I didn't keep this. If I kept the box, I threw everything else away. Instruction booklet, box, game. That's all I needed.
Nobody had the space.
It's right. Especially like Nintendo games. PlayStation games, you have the disc. You have to put the disc somewhere. Nintendo games, it's just a cartridge. You don't need anything with it. Just throw everything away. But yeah, if you got them in your basement, look them up.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, Alex, what do we got next?
Let's talk about that Venom 2 trailer.
All right, so the trailer came out. It looks great.
It looks awesome.
And Tom Hardy's awesome, and Woody Harrelson is great. So it's going to be a very, very exciting movie. And it really, not that people didn't know Carnage was going to be in the film, but It really jacked it up. The early Venom appearances we've spoken about a lot.
Yeah.
We spoke the 298s, the 299s, the 300s, the 316s. We've spoken about them a lot. Even 315, where they got the little Venom head on the cover.
Right.
But there's one series that hadn't exploded until now.
Yeah.
And it literally just exploded.
Yeah.
So that was the Venom vs. Carnage series from 2004. I don't know why that series was lagging. But maybe it could be a function of Clayton Crane also, like his stuff has been selling out lately on those exclusive covers that he's been doing, all those homage covers. But this series is just on fire.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit about the Carnage character that's going to be in the film and what we can expect to see?
Yeah, I mean, you saw Carnage in all his glory at the end of the trailer, so who knows? And the rumor is, and I think you see a little bit of it, that there's going to be more symbiotes. And this series specifically introduces Toxin, which is the child of Carnage. So why wouldn't? And yeah, like you said, there's no reason why the series took so long to kind of pick up. Clayton Crane doing the interiors in that book are phenomenal. Like, you couldn't pick anybody better to do a Carnage and Venom symbiotes fighting series than Clayton Crane. And Peter Milligan's a legend. So this is a first appearance of Toxin, a character. I mean, if these Sony movies aren't going to have Spider-Man in them, the only way you can go is with just more symbiotes, and this is where you're going to get it.
Yeah, and Toxin is obviously in this book, and maybe that's part of the driving factor.
I think so.
So Venom vs. Carnage #1, September 2004. There are 312 blue label 9/8, 78 gold label 9/8. It's a $500 to $700 book, but you can't find them raw anymore. I think people have pulled them.
Exactly.
People have pulled them and shipped them in. Spider-Man Black Cat appearance. It's the first appearance of Patrick Mulligan, not to be confused with the writer Peter Milligan.
Right.
And Patrick Mulligan later becomes Toxin.
Correct.
With a Clayton Crane cover and art. The covers are phenomenal.
They're amazing.
And then issue #2 came out in October. 135 blue label 9/8, 31 gold label 9/8. Nobody's selling them raw, and nobody is selling any blue labels. Like, you literally can't find them. This is the issue where Patrick Mulligan becomes Toxin. So I don't know if 2 is going to overtake 1. You literally can't find any copies right now.
I could see it
at all.
Yeah.
Then issue 3, November of 2004. 44 blue label 9/8, 10 gold label 9/8. Also cannot find any blue or gold for sale. No one's selling them right now. Everyone, why would you sell it right now? Again, it's a Clayton Crane cover and art with a Black Cat appearance. Issue #4, December of 2004. 50 blue label 9/8, 11 gold label 9/8. Again, you cannot find them blue or gold label or raw at all. Spider-Man and Black Cat are appearing with another Clayton Crane cover. So this series opening up, these are the kind of books that you're going to want to pick up rifling through boxes, because like, you can't find them raw. And I would tell you, even in a 9.6 or 9.4, these are going to be real money.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good, Alex. What do we got next?
The person that lives in a pineapple under the sea, SpongeBob comics.
So again, it amazes me every week. I like look up this nostalgia stuff, like Thundercats. There's a live action coming.
Yeah.
And by the way, the hype around it is unbelievable. That Thundercats book is we've already spoken.
Yeah, the books are already crazy. Once a trailer hits, it's gonna double.
So what we're seeing with this 80s trend of the Simpsons comics, the Bartman, the Thundercats, the Masters of the Universe, they're all going nuts.
Yep.
Sonic the Hedgehog, we've talked about all of them.
Yeah.
We have not talked about SpongeBob, and this book is going crazy, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, this is a character that has 20 years of cartoons and movies, and a new one in Paramount Plus just came out. A good friend of the show, Bob Camp, who did a lot of the Ren and Stimpy stuff for the animated series. He's working on that show. I mean, this is one of those things that Nickelodeon bought into and has just hit a home run every time. It's been on so long that kids that watched it, kids are now watching it.
Right. By the way, who is SpongeBob?
It's a cartoon about a sponge that lives under the ocean and has adventures. That's it. That's all I can tell you. I love it. That's right up my alley. That's one of those cartoons that I love.
I could see
Yeah.
that, Alex. Doesn't surprise me.
I have a SpongeBob. I do have a SpongeBob #1. I think I have 1 through 40 at least.
Send it in.
Yeah,
Send
right.
it in, Alex. So it was also produced under United Plankton Pictures. Was that a subsidiary of another comic label, or they produced their own comic
They
books?
did their own. I mean, that is the Stephen Hallenberg who created SpongeBob. He produced these comics like Bongo Comics produced Simpsons comics. That was owned by Matt Groening. Bongo Comics is its own comic book company.
Got it. Okay, so SpongeBob #1, January of 2011, only 10 years old. 93 blue label 9/8, 5 gold label 9/8, $500+. They're actually going up. You won't find one for $500 anymore. They're $90 raw. It's got a Sherman Cone cover, and it's on fire. I mean, these books, these nostalgia books are on fire. I mean, if you would have told me that SpongeBob, and by the way, they printed a zillion of these books.
Sure they did. Yeah, I remember. I was at Midtown when it came out. I remember it on the shelf. There was a ton
of them.
Book. Yeah.
Oh my God, Alex, I missed out on all this stuff. Okay. All right. What are we closing with today, Alex?
Let's talk a little manga. I think this might be the first true manga title we've talked about in a very long time. The One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, Free Comic Book Day offering.
So this book came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
To be worth so much money. It was produced by Viz Media.
Mm-hmm.
These are normally produced in manga books.
Yeah.
The manga books aren't really valuable.
Right.
They're not at like really valuable. They don't get graded and all that other stuff. But for whatever reason, this book is on fire. It's Yusuke Murata, art and cover. This is a book that people did submit. This is a book that people are buying raw. This is a book that people are sending into CGC. This is probably one of those books, those free comic book day books you can find in a $1 box.
Totally.
Even though they're selling for tons of money.
Totally.
So talk a little bit about this title and this free comic book day version of this title.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a sampling of the mangas. The mangas have been coming out in Japan for years. They hit American audiences more so because of the animated versions of them hit America. People love them here. They're going back and reading them. This is a sample of Viz Media gives out and says, oh, check these 2 properties out. You'll like them. One Punch Man, very popular anime, but My Hero Academia is on another level. That is Pokemon type level property right now. And there's not a lot of stuff out there. There's a few things, but this is one thing that you can get that is a collectible. You get it CGC, you give it to, a My Hero fan, even a kid, you'd be like, oh, here's a nice CGC first appearance of comic book form book. People want it. They want this stuff. They're clamoring for it.
I will tell you, I would not be shocked. I think a lot of this stuff that we've talked about, I would not be shocked if this stuff were in $1 boxes or pick boxes.
I could see it.
Like, I don't know that a dealer would have known to pick this out a year. Remember, you're going back 14, 15 months of these books being untouched.
Yeah.
And now you're unleashing these boxes on comic book shows, when they open up in July and August and September. Those first few shows, it's going to be like a feeding frenzy because people, the price have skyrocketed so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, this book was May of 2016, Free Comic Book Day 2016, 80 blue label 9/8, 1 gold label 9/8. It's a $300 to $400 book in 9.8, and it's $150 raw, Alex.
That's crazy. I mean, manga's big. It's not going anywhere.
It's crazy. All right, that closes up another show. Alex, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments field. We always enjoy hearing from you out there. If you feel like we missed anything, if there's something you want to talk about, it just feels like there's a never-ending supply of hot stuff going on, Alex, right? It's just like, it's like, oh yeah, we covered it all. What are we going to talk about? And then I'll be texting you by
never. And tonight you'll probably text me about something.
Yes.
No doubt in my mind.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Same bat time.
Same bat channel. Thanks, guys.